What's good, crypto? I'm your host, Marvin, here to bring you a daily scoop on everything going on in crypto. Monday through Friday, we come here to educate ourselves. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow the podcast. Follow me on socials at Media by Marvin. Today, we're going to talk about why bears are screwed, especially with this Friday, what that means for the bears, what they need to do to not get screwed, but regardless, they're going to be in trouble. We're going to talk about the market, see what's going on. As you can see, I added the O's to my Instagram because I am now buying a bunch of, or I'm trying to get as many VV collectibles as they start getting ready for the immutable X transfer. So if you are in VV or a Comey and you buy collectibles through the VV app, hopefully soon enough we'll be able to mint them on NFT marketplaces such as OpenSea, etc., etc. But let's dive in. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. We are now in extreme greed on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which is really, really exciting. Just last week, we were at 20 extreme fear. In a week, we have flipped from 20 to 76. We have not seen this in quite some time. It's a huge flip. We are at 76, with Bitcoin's price action and everything, it's looking good. Yesterday, we were at 68. Last week, 20. Last month, 79. So it's looking really, really good. People are excited. People are loving how the market is looking. Speaking of which, let's talk about the market. Let me just refresh this, make sure we have the most accurate up to date. Right now, we are sitting at 54,242, a little bit down from yesterday with a market cap of over $1 trillion. Awesome to see that. Really, really stoked. And currently, the market cap is at 2.3 trillion. We're down 0.25%, so barely anything, but we're getting ready to test all-time highs for the market cap. If we pull up the chart, take a look at what's going on, the 1 year, we can see that the top was at about 2.42 trillion. So we are about $120 billion away, which sounds like a lot, but with a good pump, that could easily happen. I think if Bitcoin gets to 60,000, I think we're going to see everything to shoot up. But right now we are facing some resistance at around 55,000. A lot of people are saying 57, 58. We'll talk about that in just a second. We see Ethereum over 3,600. Awesome to see that. Binance Coin up $440 right now. Cardano 230. XRP is down a little bit. Solana is down a little bit. Layer 1s are doing very, very well. We see Polkadot doing well. Terra doing well. Avalanche is actually down, which is surprising to me, about 4%. Algorand is down 1%. Shiba is up 17%. It was a little bit higher, but I think there was a good sell-off that just happened. A little bit of a correction. It did have a massive correction. As we're going down, we see it's a mix pool today of winners and losers. Right now, Phantom is running up 40%. Shiba again, Bitcoin SV, MDEX, Stellar. They just had a recent announcement. I forget what. Near Protocol, Kusama. Polkadot is doing very well, almost at $35. And we go down. Elrond is up. Cardano's up. Most things are up. There's not too much red, and if they are in red, it's pretty low. It's nothing to be worried about, in my opinion. But it's a mix. Those that are green are doing pretty well, and some of them are just up a little bit today. But it's better than yesterday. Yesterday we saw Bitcoin run up. Everything was lagging. So it's good to see that, things are starting to catch up a little bit. Since Bitcoin is consolidating, finding some floor, it's finding a really good area around the $54,000 mark. Right now we're at 55. We got over a little bit, then we had a retracement down to about 53,800. Now we're bouncing off this $54,000 level. So let's take a look at the charts for Bitcoin right now. Looking at the trading view. Yep, so we have a little bit of correction. Like I mentioned, we did down to 53,400 more or less. Nothing too crazy, or 53,357. Right now, we're holding the $54,200 level. And yesterday, we waked up to 55,750. So what are the next levels everybody's talking about? Everyone's talking about this, the $57,000 level. If we take a look, we can see that the $57,000 level, there is a lot of activity here, a lot of bouncing back and forth. So we definitely want to see Bitcoin break through this $57,000 level. A lot of people are saying that this is like a lot of area contention. We'll see what's going on. If we take a look back in the months before, back in February, we got up to 57,000. Then we had a major retracement down to 43. That would give everybody nightmares. And then we bounced back up a couple of weeks later. We got up to 60,000. Bounced back and forth between this 57,000 level, lost it, bought back down to 50. And we eventually made it to our all-time highs of $64,854, so about 65K. Right now, Bitcoin is doing very well. I mean, we're not hitting our heads so hard where we have such a drastic retracement down to $48,000 or $40,000. I think right now what we're doing is very healthy. We are, consolidating, developing, and building a new higher low. Testing previous resistance. If Bitcoin dropped down to 52,000, I wouldn't be surprised. 53,000, again, establishing a new higher low, developing levels of support that we previously didn't have. But right now, Bitcoin is looking great. The alts are looking pretty well too. We broke through $53,000, which was a huge area. A lot of the bears were saying that, like, if we don't break it, Bitcoin's lost it, but Bitcoin is doing phenomenally. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I think everybody's eyes are on the weekly close. If Bitcoin can hold over 53,000 and develop a new local high on the weekly, I think that would look very, very good. All we really need to do with a candle close of about 51,257, but if we could close over that wick of, let's see, 52,900 for 53,000. If we can close over that, I think Bitcoin is going to position itself very, very well. So we still have a couple days left, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll see what's going on. But right now, Bitcoin is just, fighting for this $53,000 level. I think Bitcoin is doing very well. If we can consolidate between, the 53 and 54 over the next couple of days, I think we're going to develop ourselves a very good position for Bitcoin in the coming weeks ahead. But right now, 54,000 is looking very, very good. It's holding it. Bitcoin is just strong. There's a lot of bullishness in the market. And you can see that with Ethereum. A lot of people were concerned why weren't alts picking up steam yesterday. Typically, when that happens, we see Bitcoin, take the lead, take the reins, and then alts tend to lag. Right now, Bitcoin is doing pretty well, over 3,600. If we took a look at the weekly, it's positioned itself very, very well. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we can break over, 39,000, maybe the next week or two. Ethereum will have that steam. We're only about 10% of the way, 10% away from $3,900, but I think Ethereum is doing very, very well. As long as Bitcoin doesn't fall too drastically, I think Ethereum is going to be positioned very well to continue towards the upside. And then once Ethereum and Bitcoin consolidate, I mean, a lot of alts are going to run with Ethereum, but once Ethereum consolidates, we're going to see alts run as well. Some interesting stuff on Cointelegraph, price spike. Are whales front running the approval of Bitcoin ETF? A lot of people are talking about a Bitcoin ETF to be announced on October 18th. I don't know if that's necessarily true. A lot of people are talking about it, whether it's a futures ETF or backed ETF. Futures ETF is more paper trading, backed by Bitcoin as a physical BTF. So like that's what we want. But a lot of people are saying that a futures may be the first one to be adopted, and then down the road, eventually a physically backed ETF as well. And I think there's a lot of excitement, a lot of people buying it. They're trying to front run the price. So recently there was a recent huge purchase, I believe, of $1.6 billion worth. Yep, $1.6 billion of Bitcoin via market order. So it wasn't OTC, it was on the market, which ran the price up, which liquidated shorts about 17 million. So it wasn't too much of a short squeeze, but still a significant amount. I mean, we saw the Bitcoin price just jumped. So a lot of people are thinking that, oh, people are front running and buying Bitcoin in anticipation of a Bitcoin ETF being announced. And we can see here, on Bloomberg, senior analyst Eric Balchunas responded an exclamation from founder of Morgan Creek Digital, Anthony Pompliano, stating things are about to get insane with an ETF in Q4. While we are confident futures ETFs will be approved very soon, likely within 2 weeks, which would be insane, we're less confident that they will be a huge hit like a physically backed ETF would be. big step nonetheless. And I agree. I think a futures ETF is still a big opportunity. It's great. Not as good as a physical BTF as many of us would like, but I still think having a Bitcoin ETF regardless just adds to legitimacy and awesomeness of Bitcoin. Given comments made by SEC Chair Gary Gensler, a futures product is likely to be approved first, which we just talked about, which would allow investors to get exposure to Bitcoin, bet on its future price without actually having to hold any. Again, a lot of people want to be able to have exposure to Bitcoin, but not have to actually hold it, have custody of it. It's a little bit safer, and they don't have direct contact with Bitcoin. Baltrini stated that he does not think a physically backed ETF would be approved anytime soon, but said it would eventually. At some point, physical will happen. Time is just so unclear, though. Anyone's guess. Probs months or years. But yeah, 75% approval, a futures-based ETF in October would be insane. And maybe we could see, a physical ETF, depending on how positive the response is, maybe we could see a physically backed ETF be approved in the near future, maybe November. A lot of people are saying November we could see another ETF announcement. So we'll see. Sounds really, really good. But kind of talking about shorts and liquidation leads me to the last thing. Bitcoin bears are in trouble. As we can see, Bitcoin bear risks get trapped if Bitcoin price stays above 50K. That means Bitcoin needs to drop down about another 10% for bears to be somewhat saved. Bitcoin's 32% weekly rally became bears' worst nightmare as Friday's 160 million options expiry is approaching this Friday, which is huge. After breaking 54,000, over 99% of the bearish bets using put sells are likely to become worthless. We could see a mega short squeeze this Friday if people get trapped in this. Bears are in a dangerous position, particularly as Bloomberg's crypto outlook pointed out that Bitcoin's 50,000 resistance was about to flip support, excuse me. So a lot of people are betting Bitcoin was going to be below $50,000. Clearly it is not. It's actually doing very well, holding $54,000. Now, we see that we have a really good uptick in mining. A lot of people who are miners are saying if we're starting to recover from the May fall when Bitcoin mining was kicked out of China. We're starting to see mining go up. People are holding onto their Bitcoin. People aren't selling their Bitcoin. They're holding it and when miners are uptaking in hash rate, miners aren't selling. This is definitely indicative that, if the miners think that it's going in the right direction, they're not going to sell, which is very, very bullish. But just kind of breaking things down regarding the expiries happening this weekend, the call to put ratio represents slight difference between the 465 million worth of call buys options versus the 400 million in sell options. Below are the likeliest scenarios for Friday's expiry. I honestly can't imagine Bitcoin. Anything can happen, first off. But do the bears have enough strength to push Bitcoin down to $50,000? Let's see what happens. These are the four likely scenarios. Between 48,000 and 50,000. So if bears can push it down tomorrow below 50,000 and somewhere between 50 and 48,000, this will still cause a liquidation of $85 million. If we can hold 50 to 54,000, which we currently are, we're actually over 54,000 right now. The net result is 290 million favoring the bull instruments, which is huge. 85 million to 290 million. That is almost a 4x from there. If we can keep Bitcoin between 54,000 and 56, that's 307 million favoring the bulls. And then if we're able to get over 56,000, which is about a 5% increase from where we are right now, if we can pump up to 56,000 tomorrow, that will be the nightmare for bears. That would put them at a liquidation of bulls profiting 425 million. That is insane. So to sum it up, the bulls have absolute control of Friday's expiries and enough incentive to keep above 54,000. On the other hand, bears need a 10% negative move below 50,000 to avoid $370 million in losses. So Could we see a mega short squeeze this weekend? Could we see the bears just get wrecked, liquidated? We'll see. Right now, at the time of this recording, it looks like Bitcoin is not going to get below 50,000. Could we dip down to 52, 53? That's definitely possible. But even if we're between 52 and $53,000, we could see a liquidation between $200 and $290 million. Bitcoin or bears really need to work hard and get the worst FUD and just sell like crazy if they really want to get that liquidation numbers low and not lose that much in their options. So we'll see, but tomorrow could be a big day. Maybe we could see the bulls, after a day of rest today, push it even further tomorrow, bring the entire market up and just wreck all the bears. So if you're a bear, be on the lookout. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.